A big thank you to InstaWP for sponsoring this video. InstaWP is a great way to create, test and deploy WordPress websites in just one click. It's here. It's finally here. The CSS grid builder for Gutenberg. CSS Grid is a layout system for the web that allows designers, developers, and site builders to build complex, responsive grid layouts efficiently and easily. So to add the brand new grid block, just type /grid as your shortcut. That's going to start you off with the grid container. Now I'm just going to add a block within that I've pre-designed, and that is essentially just a group block that I've added some other blocks to, just so we can see some stuff. If I select the grid block at the top here, you can see I can change the width. So I might say this is wide width, so I want it a bit wider. And then in here, I'm actually just going to duplicate these a few times so we can actually see something a bit more exciting. I'm just working quickly so I can get on. So I've added 6 blocks identical here. You can see them here. If I select the grid container at the top here, you'll see over on the right in the block settings, I have some limited options. The CSS grid spec is a mighty beast. So this is like a simplified version of it, but it's enough, I think, for most layouts. You can see over here, we've got 2 different types of layout, auto or manual. If I click manual, I can actually select the number of columns. Auto means they'll auto resize depending on the value you put in the minimum column width here. So if I change this to, let's say 300 pixels, you'll see the columns will naturally organize themselves because that's what they're set to resize to. This is fantastic for responsive as well. So I could change this to 500, for example, and that's the width I get, but I don't have to go into each one and change it. I can just change this value at the top level here, and they'll all correspondingly change. One of the big advantages of CSS Grid is how well it works on different devices. For example, if I set the minimum column width here to 300 pixels, that's what we get on the desktop view, but that's also what we get on the tablet view up here. Let's switch to that view. Now you see we've gone to 2 column, but each column is maintaining its minimum width of 300 pixels. Also, if I go to mobile, you'll see it stacks into 1 column, but each column is still 300 pixels wide. The CSS grid block also comes with the ability to span rows and columns. If you select one of the children of the main container block and then come across here to styles, you'll see we've got column span and row span. So if I want this one to span 2 columns, I can just change that value and it spans accordingly, or 3 columns and it spans accordingly. You can also span rows as well. Just select the block you want to span, come across to your block styles, and you'll see this option down here that says row span, and just change that and the row will span. There is also a really cool experimental feature that comes with the grid block that lets you visually drag your blocks to create spans like so. To turn on that experimental feature, just come to your dashboard, go to Gutenberg and come to experiments. And once you're in experiments, just go to grid interactivity and tick there. And the final setting we have is the ability to change the gap between all your blocks. Just make sure you have the grid block selected, come to styles and then come to block spacing. And you can change that slider up and down to change the gap between your blocks. My good friend Justin Tadlock has created a free theme with some really cool grid block patterns that you can have a play with. I will put a link to a one-click website that I've set up for you. Just click on that link and it'll fire you up a website with everything pre-installed so you can start playing with it. Here's a few of the ones he's built, this fantastic card layout. And he's also built some fantastic wireframes that you can just add into your pages, and you can see how they've been built using the grid block. Unfortunately, the grid block won't be shipping with WordPress 6.5, but it is available right now if you use the Gutenberg plugin. But let me know what you think. How does it look to you? It's a bit limited at the moment, but I think it's really cool. And remember, it's just the start. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you can give it a thumbs up, that sends a message to the WordPress core development team that we want to see this in WordPress 6.6. Thank you so much for watching. If you can hit the like button now, it would be amazing because it makes a huge difference in terms of how many people get to see this video. It really, really does. So thank you if you can hit that like button. And also, every time you do hit that like button, our cats get a little treat. Remember, there is a one-click website in the description. If you want to have a play with this right now, click on that link and it'll fire everything up for you and it'll log you in automatically. Thank you so much for watching. Keep well, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.